U.S. homes turned over at a rate of 2.8% in 2025, and the share of first-time home buyers dropped to a record low of 21%. I'm going to break down exactly what all this means next. If you get some value out of this or you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and if you want to schedule a call with our team about how to navigate these numbers and these market conditions, you can do that with the link in the comments. Only 28 out of every 1,000 U.S. homes changed hands this year, the lowest turnover in decades, according to Redfin. This is a big number. 2.8% of all the existing homes sold and turned over in 2025. This is the lowest rate since the 1990s. And when you look at this, this is 38% fewer homes than sold during the pandemic peak, which was in 2021, 2022, 2021 specifically. And I mean, these are big numbers, right? We're seeing a big decline in the number of homes that are selling. And this is nothing new. And there's a reason behind this. I mean, we've been talking about affordability and low inventory for months and years, really, on the show here. So there's three things to take away from this. Affordability challenges have kept a lot of buyers on the sidelines, and a lot of those buyers also have a home to sell. Home prices are near record highs right now, and the borrowing costs remain a little elevated even though rates have eased. Affordability has been a challenge. The second is that there's a group of sellers unwilling to give up their lower mortgage rates. More than 70% of U.S. homeowners have a rate below 5%, well below the current rate at like 6.25-ish. Even high fives, doesn't really matter. I mean, whatever program you're getting, it's still more than what over 70% of people have right now. And the share of mortgages above 6% is at a 10-year high. So we're seeing that there is some movement in the market, but some sellers are just unwilling to give up that low rate. And there has been a little bit of economic uncertainty around job security, inflation, and it's people are just delaying and being cautious here. So we're seeing that we're coming off what is going to be, we're in November right now, the lowest level of transactions besides last year than we've seen since the mid-90s. And as a result, we've seen the number of first-time home buyers, they fell to a record low in NAR, the National Association of Realtors 2025 home buyer and seller profile. It's only 21% of all home purchases, the lowest share ever recorded. So what this means is that we're in a tight market right now. This is nothing new for any professional that's been talking about this, but the data is backing it up. So when you see really low turnover and a low share of first-time buyers, well, what does this mean? How do you react to this? How do you navigate this if your goal is to purchase a home? You want to make a real estate decision. So what we know, if you're a buyer right now, some people, and we just did a post about this on Instagram, it's never always a good time to buy and sell. That's horrible advice. The right time for you to buy is when you have a need, you can afford the monthly payment, you can live in the home for at least 5 years, and the property works for you. That's the right time to buy. That's a good time to buy. It's based on your needs as a consumer. So assuming you can check those boxes, how do you navigate your search? And there's a couple different ways to do that. One is don't throw in the towel over the next 60, 90, 120 days like a lot of other buyers will. Because you're going to see people, hey, I'm waiting until the spring. People told me that's the best time to go look, and it is true that inventory does rise during that time. What we know is that there's always opportunities on the marketplace. So you can maybe pause on purpose and be a little more selective in the homes that you look at. And you got to ask yourself this question if you're a buyer. If a home that checks those three things I just listed for you, you can live in the property the next 5 years, you can afford the payment, and it works for you, would you want to know about it? And if you said yes, then I'd be checking new listings regularly, staying connected with an agent who's going to be proactive and sending you opportunities, and let them know, hey, we're not going to totally pull out of the market, but we may pause actively looking at every home that comes on the market on purpose and evaluate things a little more closely. And that way you're not just buying a home, you're buying the right home. Because when you're seeing low turnover and a low share of first-time home buyers, that tells you that the buying market's competitive. So you want to be out there and active when it comes to that. That would be the best advice I have. And if you don't have an agent that's articulated that plan or who has said things to you like, here's how we can identify opportunities to negotiate, here's how we can identify other properties that are out there, then you might not be working with the right agent. If you're a seller, I'm looking at these numbers and I'm thinking to myself, well, should I list now or should I list in the spring? And again, it's going to fall back to those questions. Do you have a timing need right now? Does it make sense for you to get your home on the market right now? And that's going to be a personal question. I can't answer that one for you. What I can answer is that when you see a turnover rate of 2.8%, in our market, we're seeing inventory at 2.39 months supply. Even market for buyers and sellers is about a 6-month supply, so we're not even close to half of that. That tells me there's some opportunity to go work with one of these buyers that's part of the logjam that we're seeing right now, because there is a massive amount of people that want to get out there and buy. So there's opportunity in the market if it makes sense for you, and it is competitive. So you want to ask your agent questions like, how can you help me win an offer in a competitive situation? What should I be looking for on the market that other people might be missing? And what's the value in me getting the home on the market now versus maybe in the first quarter of next year? And they should be supporting these answers with data. I just had this conversation with a consumer over the phone yesterday, and they talked about timing the market. And I went through in their school district where they live, how many homes came onto the market January, February, March, April, and May in 2025, and how many sold during that time. And the data was clear. It showed that there was an opportunity maybe mid-February where sales picked up a little bit. There still wasn't a ton of competition on the market. And then when you got into March, April, and May, you saw a spike of inventory, which just creates more options for people. These are the kind of ways you want to be communicating with your agent, where they're using actual data to educate you and not just throwing out things like list after the Super Bowl, wait till the grass turns green. No, those don't have any educational value. They don't have any real data value when you're dealing with a big investment. So asking questions like, how are you going to help me win in a competitive situation? Competitively, where should I be timing getting my home on the market? How can you source off-market properties? These are things that skilled agents, that great agents are doing for their clients every single day.